Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is BG, and this is part 4 of There's a Generation That. All right, and today I'm going to be focusing on Proverbs 30, verse 14, which is going to be the last verse that I'm going to be focusing on. All right, now let's get right on to it. Proverbs 30, 14, and it says, "There is a generation whose teeth are swords, and whose jaw teeth are knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from men." Wow. Now, if you basically if you look around the world these days, you see a lot of poor people suffering, a lot of needy people suffering, and a lot of these people that have not helping. In fact, these rich people, these elite people, the government, or whatever you want to call them, they are out to destroy the poor and the needy. Why? Because they have respect of person. You know, if these people are not at that higher stature as they have no regard for them. They have no regard for the poor. They have no regard for the needy. And a lot of poor people these days, they can't get ahead of things. And the rich keep us down. Matter of fact, they stay rich off of the poor. They lock the poor in these contracts where it keeps them broke with these high interest rates and high APR rates or whatever you want to call them. And we can never get ahead. They push this credit. So these poor people try to get this credit and they get in the credit bind and the credit is bad. Um, Poor people only can get these bad neighborhoods, these bad drug infested neighborhoods where they get hooked on drugs, where people's killing each other, fighting each other, you know. Um, let's just go on and see what how the Bible describes it, and I'm coming out the Hallelujah scriptures if you want to know. So let's turn over to Isaiah 32 verses 5 through 7. Isaiah 32 verses 5 through 7 says, "A fool is no longer called noble, nor the scoundrel is said to be respectable. For a fool speaks folly, and his heart works wickedness, to practice filthiness, and to speak against Yahuwah that which misleads, to starve the being of the hungry, and to withhold the drink from the thirsty. And the methods of the scoundrel are evil. He has devised wicked plans to destroy the poor with words of falsehood, even when the needy pleads for right ruling." So right here in the word, it's caused these people with these sharp teeth and with these teeth sharp as swords and the jawbone sharp as knives, or jaw teeth sharp as knives. It calls these people fools and scoundrels. All right. So basically, he's calling these people, these rich people, these people in prominent places, these people that got influence, connections, these people that trample the poor and the needy. He called them fools and scoundrels, and they're wicked. They're evil. All right. Now let's go on to Amos, chapter 2, 6 through 7. All right. Amos chapter 2, verses 6 through 7 says, "Thus said Yahuwah, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and 4 I do not turn it back, because they sell the righteous for silver, and the poor for a pair of sandals, who crush the head of the poor ones in the dust of the earth, and turn aside the meek." All right, look. Now this is one of the reasons why Israel fell. It's these transgressions of crushing the poor. It's a transgression. It's a sin. All right. You are not supposed to oppress the poor. You're not supposed to get rid of the needy. You're supposed to help them out. This is your fellow human being. All right. All these people that got this high stature and money and power and influence and stuff. You have to help. You cannot sell out the poor. You cannot step on them. You can't. All right. So basically, he's saying you are transgressors, people that do this. you are transgressors. And what is transgressions? It's sin. All right. Now let's go on to Psalms chapter 10, verses 8 through 11. And it says, now listen to this right here describes where these people be and what they do. All right. All right. Verse 8, chapter 10 of Psalms. He sits in the hiding places of the villages. All right. Now you too much don't see too many of these rich folk and government officials, these people with major influence. You pretty much don't see them, but they're there. All right. All right, let's start over. He sits in the hiding places of the villages. In the secret places, he murders the innocent. All right. His eyes are on the lookout for the helpless. So these guys are on the lookout for these poor folks. They are waiting to destroy them. Prior to get more money from, like I said before, these people get rich off the poor. All right. All right. Verse 9. He lies in wait in a secret place as a lion in his den. And if you ever seen like Animals Planet, any type of show like that, you see how the lion crouches down and waits, and then once the prey is in the right distance from him or close enough to him, he pounces on him. The lion pounces on him and devours this poor animal, this prey animal of prey. You know. All right, continuing. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He catches the poor, drawing him into his net. And he crouches, he lies low, and the helpless fall under his strength. As you all know, that the poor falls under the strength of the government. All right. So, all right, continuing. Verse 11. He has said in his heart, El has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He shall never see. So these people think they're good to go. They think that what they done in secret to these poor people in these secret places, that Yahuwah can't see them. But he's the creator of all. He knows all, and he sees all. You know, so it's probably going to be a punishment coming. But these people are really cocky and really think they're going to get away with this stuff, you know, because they were getting away with it for so long. But, you know, time is coming. All right, now turn to me to Amos chapter 4. Amos chapter 4, verses 1 through 3. And it says, hear this word, you cows of Bashan, who are on the mountain of Shamaron, who are oppressing the poor, who are crushing the needy, who are saying to their masters, bring wine, let us drink. All right. Now let's see what Yahuwah said he's going to do with these people. Because in verse 2, he goes on to start explaining what he's going to do. So listen up. Verse 2. The Master Yahuwah has sworn by his Kodesha, his set apartness, or his holiness. See, days are coming upon you when he shall take you away with hooks, and your descendants with fish hooks. So basically saying it's going to be a day of reckoning. Now, whether he's meaning fish hooks literally or spiritually, it don't sound too good. Let me continue on. Well, let me not do verse 3. I'm going to stop right there at verse 2. And let's go on to Amos chapter 8, verses 4 through 10. And it says, hear this, you who are swallowing up the needy, to do away with the poor of the land, saying, when does the new moon pass, so that we sell grain, and the Shabbat, so that we trade our wheat, to make the epath small, and the shekel large, and to falsify the scales by deceit. Check out your grocery stores. Check out the clothings. They cost more than what they're worth. They cost more than what they're worth. When people buying cars or houses, they have the outrageous interest rates. You know, Your credit card got outrageous interest rates. We could put you in a bind. And then it goes on in verse 6 to say, to buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals, and sell the chaff of the wheat. Wow. Now listen to this. Listen to this. In chapter 7 it says, Yahuwah has sworn by the excellency of Jacob, I, Yahuwah, should never forget any of their works. He said he would never forget any of their works who oppressed the poor and who was trying to get rid of the needy. Those with teeth sharp as swords and those whose jawbone teeth are sharp as knives to devour the poor and to take away the needy from man. All right. He would not forget any of their works. All right. And going into chapter 8, I believe that this is part of the quote unquote end times. All right. Verse 8 says, shall the land not tremble for this, and every morn who dwells in it? And all of it shall swell like the river heave, and subdue like the river of Mitzrayim. And it shall be in that day, declares the Master Yahuwah, that I shall cause the sun to go down at noon, and shall darken the earth on a day of brightness, and shall turn your festivals into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation, and bring sackcloth on all loins, and baldness on every head, and shall make it like mourning for an only son, and its end like a day of bitterness. Y'all going to get yours, all right? It kind of reminds me in Revelation when the people want the rocks to fall on them to hide them from the face of the Most High. It's going to be a mournful day for these people. It's like also in Revelation they say the Babylon, the great city that which fell, and within 1 hour everybody's mourning for it. All right, because they partook of its sins, they partook of everything of it. And these people, these rich people, these people that thought that it was all that, they thought that it was better. They would be in mourning, just like when Egypt or Mitzrayim lost their first sons. They was in major mourning. All right, and that's a hurting thing. You know what I'm saying? For your only child to be taken away from you and to be killed. And this is how this day is going to be for these people with these sharp teeth. You know what I'm saying? With these people with jawbone sharp as knives. This is the days of revenge. The day that Yahuwah gets revenge, for them treating these poor and needy people like that. Man, it says it's gonna be a day of bitterness. So right now, all the elite, the rich, the powerful, the people that got influence and connection, right now they having the ball. They're having fun. But their day of bitterness is coming. All right, now let's go over to Micah chapter 1. And I just want to read this chapter 1, verse 1 through 2, because I want to let you know who Yahuwah is talking to when he's talking about these people that's oppressing the poor and the needy. All right, and it says, the word of Yahuwah that came to Micah of Morsheth in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehuda, which he saw concerning Shamaron and Jerusalem. Hear, all you peoples, listen, O earth, and all who are in it. Let the Master Yahuwah be a witness against you, Yahuwah, from his Kodesh Hekal, which is his set-apart temple. All right, he's talking to everybody in the world, and so he can bear witness. He says, so he can be a witness against you, those people with the teeth sharp as swords and the jawbone teeth sharp as knives, to devour the poor and to take away the needy from the earth, or the needy from man, or the needy away from the land. All right, he's talking to everybody, so don't think it's just focus on Israel, because it said the people of the earth, all who dwells in it. All right. Now let's go over to Micah chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. All right, and this is another thing that Yahuwah is gonna do to these type of people. All right, chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. This is out of the book of Micah. It says, "Woe to those plotting wickedness and working out evil upon their beds. In the light of the morning they practice it, because it is in the might of their hand. They coveted fields and seized them, also houses, and took them away. And they oppressed a man and his house, a man and his inheritance." All right. So I'm going to stop right there for right now. Okay. Basically, what it's saying right here, these people are plotting in their homes. You know what I'm saying? They're making all these plans and plots against the mundane. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time for the morning time, when it's daylight, when it's business time, they execute their plans. Why? Because they have the power. They have the money. They have the influence. They have the connections to do it. You know, and they'll get away with it because they have the power. They have the money. They have the influence, and they have the connections. All right. Let's continue on to chapter 3. I'm not chapter 3, verse 3. "Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, see, against this clan I am planning evil, from which you do not remove your necks, nor walk proudly, for this is a time of evil." So during this time of evil, these so-called rich people will not be walking proudly like they do now, with their head held up high and the nose up. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they won't be able to get away from it. All right, now let's go on. Chapter 4. In that day, end times, so-called end times, in that day one shall lift up a proverb against you. Remember, the Hebrews was a proverb now, and it's going to change around to those with the influence and the power and the money. They would now become a proverb. All right. "And he shall lament with bitter lamentation, and shall say, we have been utterly ravaged. He changes the inheritance of my people. How he removes it from me. He apportions our fields to the backslider." All right. See, right there, he said it. He's going to take all that away and give it to the needy and the poor. All right. It's not going to be good. He's at bitter lamentation. Bitter lamentations. Y'all got a lot of things to think about. You know, those who have those sharp teeth and jawbones sharp as knife, to devour the poor and to remove the needy from the man. Y'all got a lot to think about. I hope that y'all watching this, because you really need to think about your souls. You know, we had to help poor people and needy people. You know, so not cut them down, not think less of them because they don't have. All right, because Yahuwah, the Almighty Creator, is going to get us, and we should be fearful of the one that can destroy body and spirit in hell. All right. Now let's go on over to James chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. New Testament. All right, James chapter 5, 1 through 6. All right. Verse 1. "Come now, rich ones, weep, crying aloud over the hardships coming upon you." Yahuwah said there will be hardships coming upon you. And you just remember the hardship that you gave to the poor and the needy and the righteous. All right? Remember that, because it's going to come back to you. All right? Continuing on. It says, "Your riches have rotted. Your garments have become moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have become rusty. And their rust shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days." Do not store up treasures on earth, because they rust and corrode, but rather store up treasures in heaven, that is incorruptible, where rust or the moth or decay does not touch it. So basically right here in the last day, these people are still going to be trying to store away their treasures, their corruptible treasures at that. All right, let's go on to verse 4. See the wages of the workmen who mowed your fields, which you kept back, cry out, and the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of Yahuwah of hosts. Let me read that again. See the wages of the workmen who mowed your fields, all right, which you kept back, cry out, and the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of Yahuwah of hosts. Yahuwah hears those that cry out. He hears them, especially those that's been oppressed by the poor. The righteous who being not being oppressed by the poor, but the poor that being oppressed by the rich. The righteous that's being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? He hears those cries. You know, he hears those cries for the people who does the laborer's work for these rich people and get paid pennies. You know. Now let's go on to verse 5. And now listen to this. This is the good thing right here. This is a good one right here. All right, talking to these rich folk. You have lived on earth in pleasure and luxury. All right. You have fattened your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned. You have murdered the righteous. He does not resist you. I mean, you can point out a lot of people that's like this. These people that's living on earth with pleasure and luxury, that fatten their hearts, but they oppress the poor. They want to get rid of the needy. They have respect of persons. They have no regard for, I guess, the lower stature. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to read one more verse because this is a verse of hope. All right? And verse 7 says, so brothers, be patient until the coming of the master. We have to be patient until the coming of the master, of Yahushua. You know, we have to be patient. All right? See, the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain. That's the hope we're waiting for. We're going to be constantly oppressed, all right, by the rich. We're going to be constantly plotted on by the rich, those that think they're better than us. But know this, people of that is poor, the righteous people, the needy people. You know, just know that the day will come where these rich, evil people will get their just due. You know, they will get theirs. All right, so just stay strong in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Lean on Yahuwah all the time. And just know that there will be a day that these people will get it. And their demise will come. And there's no way they will be able to get away from it unless they repent before this time comes and turn away from their wicked ways. This is BG from the Prayers of the Breach. I hope everybody had a nice Shabbat. And I'm out. Baruch Shalom.